Okay. So first of all, I'm going to select from 9.2, and I will select 16, 18, and 9.3. I will select 20, 24, and 23. And from 9.4, and this is the end of chapter 9, I will select 37. 15 with some A's and B's. So everything we studied in class should be reviewed. Everything that I will do in class right now should be reviewed. All quizzes should be reviewed. Homework with solutions. Okay? Homework for today went up till what? What section? Everything? Okay, so you'll have a little homework to turn in on Tuesday as well, from the sections that you did not, that the homework for today did not cover. Okay, any questions? What would you like to start? I'm sorry? It did?
Yeah, that's like the only thing that's
Just the last section?
just the imaginary number.
Okay. If it's just the last section, I'm fine. As long as you're fine with it. Like, but you still have to study for the test.
That's my point.
But you still have to work on problems. Okay, please tell me, what would you like me to start with? All of them? Okay, that's fine. So let's start with 16. And 16 we have negative 4 equals the absolute value of x minus 3 divided by 2 minus 5. 2 minutes. Can anyone get us started? Any suggestions? Say it again. Wonderful. So the equation becomes x minus 3 divided by 2 equals 1. Very good. Then if you do that, I cannot give more than 0. If you do that in an absolute value equation, as is, I cannot give more than 0, please. Yes. Yes. So what do I write?
X plus 3.
I cannot change x minus 3 into x plus 3.
Oh, x minus 3 divided by 2 times the good one
Equals,
Okay.
and then x minus 3 over 2 equals 1.
Yes. Please make a note. Make a note. Do not multiply or divide both sides of an absolute value equation by 2, like in this case, when 2 is inside the absolute value. That is not allowed. Okay, next step. So, what do I write for the first equation?
Oh, you want the answer?
No, I want the next step.
You would like start with one of the equations, so you multiply it with 2.
Very good. Here I multiply both sides by 2. What do I have to write?
X minus 3 equals -2.
Good. And then from here, x equals?
1.
Perfect. Excellent. From the second equation, I have x minus 3 equals 2. And from here, x equals?
5.
Perfect. So these are the two solutions. Any questions on the first problem?
We don't do any of those.
Don't
Should we
test?
check it?
Don't you guess it? I mean, check it.
This is not, we didn't square. We didn't square both sides. When we square both sides, we get extraneous solutions. We can get extraneous solutions. This is in chapter 10,
Okay.
right? If you want to check, please go back and check. But it's not part of the problem. It's not mandatory. Okay, very good. Are we okay with this? Yes? Okay. Problem 18. In problem 18, we have the absolute value of x minus 3 equals the absolute value of x plus 5. Okay, 1 minute. If anyone wants to get us started, I'll write the starting point. So there are two options. Again, x minus 3 equals x plus 5. Very good.
X minus 3 equals -1 times.
Very good. Excellent. This is indeed the starting point. Very good. Can anyone dictate what to do next?
Solve the way.
So what will you do here with this equation?
Move the 3 to another side.
The focus is on the variable.
Alright, move the x side was there.
Okay, I subtract x from both sides.
-3 plus 5.
Good. What do we conclude? No solutions. No solutions. No solutions. What about the second equation? Can anyone dictate the second equation?
No, it's you end up adding or distributing the negative.
Yeah. So
first.
what should I write?
X minus 3 equals negative x minus 5.
Good.
Then you add x,
Good.
then add 3 to each side. So 2x will be equal to -2.
Good. So then x equals?
Uh,
That's the only solution. Perfect. Any questions on this problem? Good? Good? Okay. Good. That's the next problem. Problem 20. 2 minutes. Can anyone get us started?
You're gonna put -10 on the other side. You can't.
So that's
Sign's not
equals.
right.
Say it again. If you do that, it's a 0. If you change the inequality symbol into an equation symbol, I cannot even look at it. Sorry about that. Anyone wants to give it a shot? Yes. Excellent.
6 plus 4x is greater than or equal to 10, and 6 plus 4x is less than or equal to -10.
Excellent. Thank you. Wonderful. Can anyone dictate the first one?
You have 6x, 4x.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 6 plus 4x, not 6x.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. So 6 plus 4x greater than or equal to 10. This is 4x greater than or equal to perfect, which means x greater than or equal to 1. So this is done. Now I have to look at the other one. So 6 plus 4x less than or equal to -10. 4x is less than or equal to, excellent. So then x less than or equal to -4. Remember, you have to write the union. I didn't know that union was that powerful.
It is
Very powerful.
very
Okay.
X
Yeah.
and
Yes?
negative infinity to -4. And then 1 to
Perfect. Next problem is number 24. (24) 6x minus 5 in absolute value less than or equal to 5. Can anyone get us started in any way?
Alright, is this the way you can do it on the other side?
Say it again.
This is the way you do -5 on the other side.
Because I read. You don't have to memorize anything. Just cover it. Looking for numbers whose distance from 0 is less than 5 units. Right? You don't have to memorize anything. Just read it carefully and think. So, how do I write it?
-5 is less than or equal to 6x minus 5, which is less than or equal to 5.
Excellent. What will you do next?
And to all of them.
Very good. So then the left-hand side becomes
0,
excellent. Less than or equal to
6x.
Very good. Less than or equal to? Good. Final step.
Start by 6.
Good. Left hand side.
0 is greater than, less than or equal to.
Excellent. Less than or equal to. And 10 over 6 is 5 over 3. In interval notation, please.
X in bracket 0, comma 5 over 3 bracket.
Very good. Our next problem is 23. This was 24. 23. I looked at it, caught my eye after 24 did that. Sorry about that. Just for a second, we will go backwards.
That's the question.
Please.
I
That-
just don't, how am I supposed to look at like 24 and know that I'm supposed to do it that way as opposed to like 20? Because they look the same.
Yes.
Greater than or less than sign.
So total.
If it's less than, or if it's greater than, you'll end up having a union. If it's less than, you'll end up having it just equal to. And
Now, here's how I would have answered. But I agree with Jason. Everything he said is fine. Here's how I would have answered. Cover it. Don't even think about what you have here and say, okay, I'm asked to find these numbers whose distance from 0, that's the definition of the absolute value. I'm asked to find these numbers whose distance from 0 is 10 units or more. This one says, I'm asked to find numbers whose distance from 0 is 5 units or less. 5 units or less. 10 units or more. So when I say this, I mean to the right hand side of 10 or to the left hand side of negative 10. I mean this. To the left of negative 10 or to the right of 10. But when I look at this, it says between 5 and negative 5. That's why we write between 5 and negative 5. And that's why here we write to the sides. And that's why we cannot put it in a chain. That's why this is more difficult to solve. Because it's completely separate. One goes this way and the other one goes this way. So from 1 to infinity and from negative infinity to negative 4. So the difference is, first of all, where the absolute value is and this inequality symbol. Because if I reverse this and I put 10 greater than or equal, less than or equal to, you should reverse it and always have the absolute value on the left-hand side so you don't get confused. Okay? Does it make sense? Okay. 23, please. Does it make any difference, or is it better or not better?
No, it's okay. It's fine.
Okay. Ready? Can anyone get us started on this one?
There's 2.
there's no solution.
Of course, no solutions. Why? Can anyone explain why? What type of number is this? What type of number is always this? Positive. What type of number is this?
Negative.
So can I ever say that a positive number is less than or equal to a negative number? No. Very good. No solutions. Okay, our next step for the last section, 37. I picked 37. And here's the system, x plus 2y greater than 0, x minus y less than or equal to 6. 2 minutes, please. Can anyone get us started? So we are all on the same page. Any suggestions? Anyone?
Are you gonna turn these into equations of graph?
Not at the same time. Not at the same time. Yes? And I'm going to turn them in, but not for good. I'm going to turn them in just because I need to graph the equation first.
So the first one is x plus 2y equals 0.
Yes? What type of equation is this? Yes. How many points do I need? Yes.
So you find the intercept.
Yes.
But the first intercept would actually be 0, 0. The origin.
Right. So what do I have to do if the line passes through the origin? Excellent.
Make x equal 1.
Exactly. So the first equation, as you mentioned perfectly, x plus 2y equals 0. When x is 0, you perfectly determine y to be 0. So the first ordered pair is 0, 0. So now let's say x is, make it so that you get an integer. So in this case, if you choose 1, then you move 1 and you divide by 2, it's going to be negative 1/2. So, okay, x equals 2. So then 2 plus 2y equals 0, or 2y equals negative 2. So then negative 1. So 2 comma negative 1. So that will be our first step. 0, 0, and then 2 comma negative 1. Have to stop and look at the inequality. Is this a dotted line or a solid line?
Solid. Oh, it's done now.
Good.
Why is it dotted?
Because it's not equal. Because it's only greater than it's not equal to.
Since the line passes through the origin, I cannot use the origin to check. So give me a point, anywhere you want. Let's say this one. What are the coordinates of that point?
0.
Careful.
What point? Where?
2, 0. Okay, 2, 0. 2 greater than 0. True or false?
True.
Good. So I have to shade in the area that has that point. So here it is. All this is x plus 2y greater than 0. Everything in orange. What do I do next? Good. Exactly. So then I have to write what? Excellent. Equals 6. So then I need to determine 2 points.
The intercepts.
Good. When x is 0. So when x is 0, how much is y, please?
Negative 6.
Okay. When x is 0, y is negative 6. So 0, negative 6. When y is 0, x is
6.
good. So then 6 comma 0. Will this be a solid line?
Yes.
Good. So let's graph it. Sorry. Daniel.
I work so well. This is like my 5th one, so it's all the most. Thank you. I hope she drops.
Okay. So did you shade it?
Yeah.
Okay. So 0, negative 6. is here. And 6, 0 is here. Is this a solid line?
Yes.
So this is x minus y equals 6. I can pick the origin. So go back to the inequality 0, 0. 0 less than or equal to 6. Is that true? Yes. So then it means I have to shade in the area that has the origin. And this will be the solutions, the territory that gives the solutions to x minus y less than or equal to 6. In order to finalize this and give the final answer, what do I have to do next?
Use your has both.
Right.
Shapes.
Very good. So this line, not this line, and everything in between. So this is both.
On a test, that's kind of confusing for you to grade, though.
Yeah, should we like
Because,
use
like-
a highlighter to do this? Because I feel like
No, hold your thought just one second. Not necessarily. You can just show the direction.
you like circle it.
But I will have all my colors with me, and you can use any you want. Okay.
I see what you mean by the direction, though.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Can you just remind me how to know where to shade? Like I'm so confused.
You test any point on one side. If it's true, it is that side. If it's not, shade the other side.
What about the origin? That like we said to mark through the origin, then pick any other point and point out.
But remember the region you picked it from. And if it's true, then you shade in the region that contains the point that you picked. Okay, let's go back now to chapter 10. So at the end of chapter 10, we have complete review. It starts on page 645. Okay, I'll pick from 10.1. Uh, 10, 12, 14, 22, 25, 26. Okay. Since all the answers are in the back, I'm going to do just a couple of these. So I'm going to work on 12. So we can go through everything. And then if we still have time, we'll come back and do more. So 12. The fifth root of negative 32, x to the 15th, y to the 20th. I'm sorry? Yes, I would. So the fifth root of negative 32, the fifth root of x to the 15th, and the fifth root of y to the 20th. Okay, 1 minute or less, it should be. Say it again.
We did. Yeah, we did.
Okay, very good. So what do you tell me to write? Good. Excellent. Perfect. Okay, so let's move on to 22. Here we are told variables can be any real number. So let's simplify this, please.
You separate them first,
Absolutely.
and then a squared plus 2 2ab plus b squared.
If you expand it, you will not be able to apply the
no.
square root to it. So if you
Oh, I see.
write
It's
this,
yeah.
if you write this x squared minus 2xy
Yeah.
plus y squared, you will never be able to simplify it,
But
right?
because it's to the second power and it's a square root, it's just x minus y.
Right, but it says x and y can be any real number.
Absolute value.
Very good. Okay, so let's look at 25. Any questions? Any questions?
Because it said, any real number, that's why you get absolute value.
Yes.
We are given a function f of x equals the square root of x plus 3. In part A, we're asked to find f of 0, and then f of 9. And in part B, we're asked to find the domain. And there is a part C.
On
Yes.
number 22,
Yes.
the square of the square root and the power connection line up.
Because of the rule of the nth root of a to the mth power is a to m over n, and this is not written, and it's 2. So it would be 2 over 2.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yes. F of 0, please.
3.
F of 9, please. Good. Domain. I have to write something that I have to solve in order to state the domain. Yes. What do I have to write? Say this, no. I have to write something that I solve. A bracket is not something I solve.
0 and 9.
Say it again.
0 and 9.
No, this was just what I was given here. No. Say it again. This is not a linear equation, it's a radical. It's a square root. We know how to graph 4 functions. Linear, square root, cube root, and absolute value. And this is not a linear function.
X plus 3 is greater than or equal to.
You would have been correct if I had this.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't have that. But you are on the right track. And I'm in search of my coverall. So then something else. You're on the right track. What else do I have to write in this case?
Square root of X plus 3.
But if I said that the square root of x plus 3 would have been correct, then what do I have under the square root?
X, so X is greater than.
Exactly. Exactly. So that is the domain of this function. How do I get it then? What is it? How do I write it? Correct. Good. Now I'm asked to graph it. So I will have to create a chart. So in part C, graph f of x. Okay. So x, f of x. I know the domain. One more time, what is the domain? Good. And please find some values of x that work well so I can put them in and graph the function.
0.
Correct. When you plug in 0, we already have the answer is 3. 1, indeed, I agree. And the answer is? Good, perfect. Then?
4.
Perfect.
You find.
Very good. And one more, which I already have. It's right here. And I get, that's it. Please remember, this is not a straight line. So 0, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. This is the graph of f of x, which is the square root of x plus 3. Any questions on this problem? Okay, moving on to 10.2. 33, 38, 46, and 48. And let's say 54. Okay, let's start with 33. And 33 we have negative 25 raised to 5 halves.
First thing you do is put it under the root of 5.
So you would write
5 root 25.
so the index. Okay, very good. The square root of
Square root of 25 to the
negative 25 to the. Good. Now let's think for a moment. When I raise a negative number to an odd power, what kind of number will I get? Good. Now the square root of a negative number. Imaginary. But we know now how to write the imaginary number. So this is the same thing with the square root of negative 25 raised to the 5th power. So what does it mean, this? How do I split the square root of negative 25? Excellent. Perfect. So what do I have inside parentheses then? Careful. Good. So then I have 5 to the 5th power and I to the 5th. I don't recommend you memorize that, but if you do, that's fine too. So I have 5 to the 5th power times I squared times I. I split into 4 and 1. I split I to the 5th power into I to the 4th and I. But I to the 4th, because I need to simplify. And I to the 4th power is I squared squared. Since this is negative 1 to the 2nd power, it will be 1. So final simplified form, 5 to the 5th power times I. Say it again.
Why wouldn't you simplify 5 to the 5th power? Why wouldn't
Oh yes, of course. I'll do that too. Okay, 5 to the 5th power. I got 3, 1, 2, 5. I, yes. So that equals 3, 1, 2, 5, I. And then the next I would like to look at 46, which is x to negative 3, y to the 6th, and everything to 1/3. Take a minute on that, and I'm copying 48 as well. X to 1/4, x to negative 1/2, and x to 2/3. Yes? No, it gives you negative 1 squared, which is 1. Negative 1 squared, which is 1. That's okay. That's okay. So we're working on 46. Jason, you prefer admiring it?
No, I'm just
Okay.
thinking the first time.
Okay. Any suggestions on 46?
You split them up.
Yes, but I would not do that because you could split them up, but I will just apply the power. I will copy the base. What happens to the exponents? I can never add when I raise to a power.
Okay.
Multiply. Negative 3 over 1 times 1 over 3. Perfect. Times y to 2. So the final simplified form would be
Over x.
very good. Thank you very much. Okay, next problem. Let me know if you have questions. Any questions?
Couldn't you just leave it x negative 1, y 2?
No. No. The requirement is that no negative exponents are left in the final answer, no radicals in the denominator. You have to rationalize the denominator. Unless you are told to rationalize the numerator, we always rationalize the denominator. Can anyone tell us what to do on 48? They're all the same base. I don't even know what to rationalize. Good. So I have x to 1/4 minus 1/2 over x to 2/3. What now? Not yet. Copy the base. What happens to the exponents? Yes. From 1/4 minus 1/2, I have to subtract 2/3. So what is the least common denominator? I agree with 12. What does the first fraction need at the top?
3.
Excellent. And the second fraction at the top?
6.
Perfect. And the last fraction at the top?
8.
But you mean 4. Good, I know. So what should I write at the top now, please?
3 minus 6 minus 4.
4 times 2. Good. So this is negative 3 minus 8 is negative 11. So say it again.
You just said 4.
But it is 4 times 2. So negative 2 times 4 is negative 8.
Okay.
So this is a negative 3 minus 8 is negative 11. I cannot leave negative exponents in the final answer. What will I do next? We just did that a second ago. Say it again. No? We just wrote this, right? It's the same thing.
So it's just
I have a base raised to a negative exponent. What do I do with it? Right, we just mentioned the fact that I cannot leave a negative exponent in the final answer. I have to do what?
So it's 1 over x to 1 over.
Very good. Now this is what? 1 over?
The radical.
Yes. Which one?
The 12 to x to 11.
Good. And now I need to rationalize.
Oh my god.
By what? It has to be the same index.
by
By
x.
12.
Just 1x. And the final simplified form will be the 12th root of x over?
X.
Indeed. Yes, Morgan, go ahead.
I'm still stuck in the beginning. Like, if you have to get a common denominator of 12, and you have to multiply 3 by 4 to get 12, how do you get 4 at the top if you have to multiply the 2 by 4 also?
Okay, so I have 1 over 4 minus 1 over 2 minus 2 over 3. All of them have to be changed into something over 12. What do I change 1 over 4 into? What over 12 will be 1 over 4? What do I change how do I change 1 over 2 into something over 12? How do I change 2 over 3 into something over 12? 3 minus 6 plus minus 8.
I'm giving up on this. I'm not even gonna try to understand it.
Can anyone explain how we get 3, negative 6, and negative 8?
This is all over x to the 2/3.
Right. So from the exponent of the numerator, I subtract the exponent of the denominator.
Okay.
From the exponent of the numerator, I subtract the exponent of the denominator. Why I did that is because I didn't want to find the least common denominator twice.
Yeah.
So I had 1/4 minus 1/2 minus 2/3. And when I find the least common denominator is 12, I multiply the top of the first fraction by 1, the top of the second fraction by 6, and the top of the third fraction by 4. Do we agree with that? Yes, please.
Where did the x bar 11 go?
You mean this one?
No, the other one.
This one?
No,
This one?
Yeah.
It didn't go anywhere. We multiplied these two, and we got the 12th root of x to the 12th, which is x. We rationalize the denominator. It's there.
Okay.
Other questions on this problem? Are we okay with it? Any questions? Just change some numbers in here. Just put 2/3, put 1/4, put 1/6. We can do that. You want to do that? Okay. So x to 2/3, x to negative 1/6 over x to 1/4. Okay. So let's work on this.